Chapter 233. This speed. It was so fast that the naked eye almost couldn't catch it. Her profound grade was obviously lower than his, so how could her speed be so fast? Earlier when Yiqing Luo's profound qi was suppressed, Yiqing Luo also disappeared in a blink of an eye. He didn't sense any profound qi fluctuation at all. This woman, other than her strange footwork, she must have some other magical weapon to increase her speed. Ling Fenghua was shocked. He nimbly somersaulted back and quickly retreated a few steps. Immediately, profound qi was injected into both palms, and another palm strike was launched. The palm wind whistled, bringing along a whirlwind. Yiqing Luo waved her feather fan and easily avoided it. But Ling Fenghua's figure was nowhere to be seen. Yiqing Luo's watery eyes squinted slightly, and released her perception to the maximum range, searching for Ling Fenghua's presence. Although the surrounding trees had been destroyed by the beasts, but it was still a forest. It was very easy for him to hide. Ling Fenghua was able to become the crown prince. His strength was naturally not weak, and his ability to adapt was also extremely strong. He was very clear that there was absolutely no chance of winning against Yiqing Luo in terms of speed. It was better to strike from the dark. Yiqing Luo vigilantly sensed everything around her. The opponent was a mystic profound 9th grade cultivator. Even if she relied on her footwork and teleportation, she didn't dare to be too insolent. After all, between a profound grade, there was a difference of 108,000 miles. Her ears suddenly twitched. She quickly turned sideways and turned her head to look. Behind him, an extremely sharp Xian Qi transformed into a giant dragon with its head held high. That huge dragon hovered in the sky, opened its mouth and wanted to swallow Yiqing Luo. The entire magical beast space had darkened, the sky had flashed with lightning, as if a storm was coming. Yiqing Luo immediately squatted down, and rolled sideways. That huge dragon pounced on empty air. There was a loud explosion. The entire ground was blasted out a huge black hole. Sand and stones flew, smoke and dust billowed. Vaguely, she saw a figure flickering, but she couldn't see it clearly. Yiqing Luo's eyes sunk, and her heart jumped. Damn it! Not good. She fell into a trap. One palm to determine the universe, dragon shadow palm. As Ling Fenghua's palms turned over again, the corners of his mouth curled into a sly sneer. Amidst the hazy smoke and dust, only Ling Fenghua's hands could be seen in the air. It was impossible to see his movements at all. A wave of palm qi formed a huge palm print in midair. Like a huge wave, the surrounding ground rumbled and trembled as cracks appeared on it. Lightning flashed and thunder roared in the pitch-black sky. Ling Fenghua had calculated Yiqing Luo's evasion speed and distance before he executed this fatal blow. Yiqing Luo couldn't evade in time. She swiftly raised her feather fan and injected her profound energy into it, and then she constructed a red light barrier that was like a cocoon and enveloped herself within it. Just as the cocoon rose, the dragon's shadow palm had already covered the sky and the earth as it pressed down. This powerful energy seemed as though it was going to corrode her as it instantly tore apart Yiqing Luo's protective shield. At the same time, Yiqing Luo executed her teleportation once again. He appeared behind Ling Fenghua. She spun the feather fan in her hand, and a sharp blade appeared on the handle of the fan, which was pressed against Ling Fenghua's neck. Boom boom boom, just as Yiqing Luo was about to get close to Ling Fenghua, the ground suddenly boomed and caved in. Within a few meters around Ling Fenghua, the ground collapsed crazily. That exploded stone, all smashed onto Yiqing Luo's chest. Pft! A mouthful of blood spurted out from Yiqing Luo's mouth. Chapter 234. Unexpectedly, Ling Fenghua actually controlled his palm energy so freely. Yiqing Luo felt a fishy sweetness in her throat as she steadied herself. It's really you, Yiqing Luo. Ling Fenghua's eyes were cold as he stared intently at Yiqing Luo's face. Disguising yourself to appear in front of this highness, is it an attempt to attract my attention? Very good, you succeeded. The more he looked, the more Ling Fenghua felt that the woman in front of him was very familiar. Gradually, it overlapped with the petite figure in his mind. This was the reason why Ling Fenghua stood in front of Yiqing Jian and exchanged blows with Yiqing Luo. Sure enough, he found it. Pfft. Yiqing Luo spat. Do you have to be so narcissistic? Who the hell was trying to get his attention? She found it disgusting. Who is that man? Ling Fenghua's eyes were bloodshot as he turned his head towards Dmo Xian's direction. Dmo Xian stood proudly with his arms crossed over his chest. The fluttering white long robe actually looked so compatible with Yiqing Luo's outfit. Ling Fenghua felt as if he had caught his own woman with his own eyes and made him wear a green hat. What has it got to do with you? Yiqing Luo sneered as she wiped the blood off her lips. Suddenly, he felt an inexplicable burning sensation in his heart. She covered her chest with her small, fair hands. Yiqing Luo's forehead was dripping with cold sweat. Ling Fenghua only thought that Yiqing Luo had admitted her affair with that man, and his eyes shot out an intense murderous intent as he raised his palm once again. Suddenly, a strong ray of light burst forth from Yiqing Luo's body. That devilish red glow turned into a whirlwind, encircling Yiqing Luo's surroundings. Ling Fenghua was forced to take a few steps back. His face was filled with shock, and his tall body trembled uncontrollably. No, impossible, actually, this was the sign of a breakthrough. Ling Fenghua naturally wouldn't foolishly assume that Yiqing Luo was going to advance to the earth profound grade. Not an earth Xian, was that the mystic profound realm. In other words, before this, Yiqing Luo's profound grade had always been yellow profound 9th grade. Ling Fenghua's prideful self-esteem was severely stimulated. Yellow profound 9th grade. He could actually fight wave after wave of magical beasts and illusory beasts. Yellow profound 9th grade. He was a profound grade higher than Yiqing Luo, yet he had to resort to trickery to hurt her. If Yiqing Luo continued to grow, wouldn't it be? Ling Fenghua shuddered, not daring to think any further. Everyone's vision, including those magical beasts which were fighting crazily, all shifted onto Yiqing Luo. In the light, a white figure gradually appeared. The coquettish red light stirred up a whirlwind that blew her hair and her dress fluttered in the air. It was as if a fairy from the 9 heavens had descended into the world. The light around her body flickered one after another. Mystic Profound Grade 1. Mystic Profound 2nd Grade. Mystic Profound 3rd Grade. Everyone was horrified in their hearts, and gasps resounded one after another. In the end, the light flickered once more, and the fluctuation of the profound chi stopped at the 4th level of the profound mystic realm. The light gradually dissipated. Within Yiqing Luo's body, there seemed to be a clear spring, flowing along her meridians. His body and mind felt comfortable, even the pain from Ling Fenghua's palm energy seemed to have disappeared. F***CK. Where did this freak come from? A breakthrough of 4 ranks in one go. I must be dreaming. How could this be possible? I've never seen anyone who could advance so many ranks in one go. None of the mercenaries could believe their own eyes. A breakthrough to the Mystic Profound Grade. And straight to the Mystic Profound 4th Grade. This was simply unheard of. Chapter 235. Yiqing Luo smiled sweetly, as enchanting as a flower. After her breakthrough, her entire temperament had undergone an earth-shattering change. That pair of enchanting eyes revealed a bit of charm. Her exquisite face and faint smile caused everything around her to lose all its brilliance. This smile could be said to be devastatingly beautiful, unparalleled. However, this smile, in Lang Fenghua's eyes, was like a devil from hell. His whole body was ice cold, and before he could react, he felt a stinging pain on his neck. Yiqing Luo's fan handle pressed against Lang Fenghua's neck. The sharp blade cut his skin, a drop of bewitching blood flowed on the blade. Lang Fenghua felt the pain, drew a cold breath. His body had just moved, both his arms were held by Yiqing Luo's hands. Crack, Lang Fenghua only felt a numbness in both arms, the bones were twisted, he was in so much pain that he broke out in cold sweat. His facial features were hideous, his entire face was twisted into a ball. That pair of sinister eyes was filled with hostility. In his heart, there was a turbulent wave. He couldn't believe, the once weak and incompetent, meek Yiqing Luo, actually improved so quickly. Her beauty was so ostentatious that he couldn't bear it. The strong and sharp aura shocked him to the point that he had no room to resist. How could the current Lang Fenghua have the slightest bit of his usual gentleness? Lang Fenghua, no matter what, you are a crown prince, don't say that I didn't give you a chance. Yiqing Luo's fan handle lightly patted his neck a few times. Lang Fenghua's muscles stiffened, his whole body tensed up. Aren't you and eldest sister affectionate, lovey-dovey? Then. Now, let Yiqing Qian come over, kowtow to me a few times, then I will let you go, how about that? Yiqing Luo's charming eyes were glistening, the smile on the corner of her mouth was full of ridicule. Yiqing Qian, who was standing far away in the safe zone, heard this, angrily pointed at Yiqing Luo. Yiqing Luo. You dare to ask us to kneel? Aren't you afraid of being struck by lightning? You're not dead yet, this lightning can't strike me no matter what. Yiqing Luo's brows rose as her lips curled into a sarcastic smile. Don't tell me. Eldest sister is unwilling to kneel down for Lang Fenghua. After saying that, she clicked her tongue and shook her head helplessly. So the relationship between you two isn't as good as I thought. It's just a kneel and you can save your lover. You're still unwilling. Don't try to sow discord between us. Yiqing Qian's face darkened as she clutched her sleeves tightly. Who knows if you're intentionally teasing us? She bit her lower lip fiercely, her eyes burning with anger. Her feelings towards Lang Fenghua was not true love. What she loved was his status and power. Moreover, Lang Fenghua did not have true feelings for her. Especially just now, in order to escape, he had actually left her to be the prey of that wave of magical beasts. These actions made Yiqing Qian's heart turn cold. For her to kneel down to Yiqing Luo for Lang Fenghua, she couldn't do it. That's right, there's a high possibility that he's playing a trick on you. Yiqing Luo raised her eyebrows, the blade of the fan swam around Lang Fenghua's skin. The blade shone with a piercingly cold light. As though the slightest movement would cut his neck. The feeling of the death god above his head was indeed torturous. Lang Fenghua's body stiffened, even his breathing was careful. Yiqing Luo's dimples bloomed, as her enchanting sweet voice slowly seeped into everyone's eardrums, but you don't have a choice. So what if they were playing a trick? Chapter 236. You're going too far. Yiqing Qian was so angry that her entire body was trembling, her 10 fingers were tightly embedded into the flesh of her palm. Yiqing Luo sneered disapprovingly, I never bully others. In her eyes, Yiqing Qian was at most an animal. Following that, Yiqing Luo raised up 3 fingers as her chilly voice was piercingly cold, I'll count to 3, either you kneel down or he dies. Yiqing Luo withdrew a finger and spat out a word, 1. Yiqing Qian's eyes were filled with unwillingness. His heart was filled with hatred, burning in his heart. 2. Yiqing Luo retracted another finger. Yiqing Qian still didn't move. Lang Fenghua didn't dare to turn his neck and could only turn his eyes and stare at Yiqing Qian's direction. He absolutely believed that Yi Qing Luo wasn't joking. 3. The last number came out from Yi Qing Luo's pink lips. With a dong sound, Yi Qing Qian's knees landed heavily on the ground. The gravel on the ground stabbed into her knees. Hiss. Yi Qing Qian sucked in a breath of cold air, her facial features contorted in pain. She bit her lower lip tightly as she endured the humiliation and kowtowed towards Yi Qing Luo's direction. His forehead was pressed against the ground. She curled up her fingers one by one, leaving marks on the ground. But for a long time, he didn't hear Yi Qing Luo's voice. Yi Qing Luo. For His Highness, I will kneel. What else do you want? Yi Qing Qian's gaze was venomous as she raised her head abruptly and stared ahead. The voice stopped abruptly. In front of him, where was Yi Qing Luo? Only Leng Fenghua was half kneeling on the ground, clutching his neck and panting heavily. Yi Qing Qian's face twitched a few times as she stiffly twisted her neck and looked around. They saw Yi Qing Luo, who was originally standing in front, holding Leng Fenghua hostage, was now in the midst of the beast horde. All the mercenaries were working together with her to surround a huge leopard-shaped magical beast. Yi Qing Qian was so infuriated that she couldn't stop trembling. She knelt down, but Yi Qing Luo totally disregarded her. Yi Qing Luo actually dared to tease her like this. Hatred spread rapidly from the bottom of his heart. She must kill Yi Qing Luo. He had to wash away today's humiliation. Not long ago, while Yi Qing Luo was teasing Yi Qing Qian, the mercenaries were annihilating wave after wave of magical beasts. Accompanying the beast tide were 3 advanced mirage beasts. One of the gigantic leopard-shaped mirage beasts bared its fangs and charged towards the leader. His speed was so fast that no one could react in time. Leader! The mercenaries cried out in fear. Their mercenary corps of more than 40 people joined forces to deal with a low-level phantom beast, but a few of them would die. Not to mention a high-level phantom beast. Moreover, the leopard-type phantom beast's eyes were scarlet red, revealing a strong killing intent. It's over. 10 meters ahead, roll right. Suddenly, a cold voice entered the regiment commander's ears. Then, he saw a white figure coming over quickly. The feather fan at her fingertips rolled up a bewitching red light and enveloped the high-level phantom beast. The commander reacted quickly, leaping forward with large strides and rolling on the ground. His body happened to be submerged in a pile of weeds and trees, and in an instant, he disappeared without a trace. Yi Qing Luo's profound qi could only make the high-level phantom beast stagnate for a moment. When it could move, it lost its target in front of it. It immediately flew into a rage and stared at Yi Qing Luo with its scarlet eyes. Human, this beast does not want to be enemies with you. Hand over that human. Chapter 237. The moment she opened her mouth, everyone was stunned. It was rumored that mirage beasts could speak human language and live like humans. This rumor turned out to be true. It was the first time for the mercenaries present to hear the voice of a mirage beast. What made them even more surprised was this high-level mirage beast actually used a negotiating tone to speak to Yi Qing Luo. Yi Qing Luo was also slightly stunned. Leopard-type high-level mirage beast. She narrowed her eyes slightly. Why are you looking for him? The high-level mirage beast's eyes sunk, revealing a bloodthirsty hatred. Human, he killed my son. If you insist on protecting that person, don't blame this beast for not showing mercy. Son. Yi Qing Luo looked at the mercenary beside her. That mercenary shook his head desperately. They had killed so many magical beasts. Who knew which one this high-level mirage beast's son was? That high-level mirage beast took a step forward, as if it had smelled the scent of the group leader. The mercenaries looked at Yi Qing Luo with pleading eyes. It could be seen that this high-level mirage beast still had some fear towards Yi Qing Luo. If Yi Qing Luo was not here, this mirage beast would probably directly destroy this place to avenge its son. Ow, ow, ow! Suddenly, a ball of white little thing, as fast as lightning, rushed to the front of Yiqing Luo. A palm-sized kitten, sitting on the ground. Its mouth issued a warning ow ow sound. The dark eyes of the beast faintly flashed a few traces of red light. Don't want to live. Miss, your kitten. A little thing, in order to protect its master, actually wanted to fight against a high-level mirage beast which was taller than a mountain. But, a scene that made everyone dumbfounded happened. Only to see that huge mirage beast stopped in front of the kitten. The mirage beast suppressed its anger, lowered its eyes and stared at Yiqing Luo. Human, what do you want? When she saw Chi sitting at the foot of the mirage beast, Yiqing Luo finally understood why this mirage beast was so afraid of her. Chi was one of the 4 sacred beasts, the ancestor of all the beasts. After she and Chi formed a contract, her body would naturally be contaminated with Chi's scent. High-leveled magical beasts and above were able to sniff out that Yiqing Luo had contracted with a sacred beast. Your son. Is he a low-level mirage beast? Yiqing Luo's lips curled into a smile, her charming eyes amiable. This leopard mirage beast reminded Yiqing Luo of the agile little mirage beast. Wasn't that little mirage beast chasing after its own kin? Was it abandoned by its kin? Then this one, since he was so eager to avenge his son, it was obvious that he cared a lot about the little mirage beast. Then why would the little mirage beast show such an expression? You saw my son. The high-rank fantasy beast's eyes darkened. You're in cahoots with these humans. Chapter 238. As soon as these 3 high-level mirage beasts appeared, the surrounding magical beasts seemed to have seen their king and stood obediently on both sides. Wave after wave of ferocious beast tide also came to a stop. The entire scene was so quiet that only the low cries of these 3 mirage beasts could be heard. The group of beasts did not dare to move. The surrounding mercenaries also did not dare to move. Yiqing Luo narrowed her eyes, sure enough. From the first time she saw this little mirage beast, she felt that this little mirage beast was not an ordinary low-level mirage beast. Because its speed and reaction was several times faster than ordinary low-level mirage beasts. The relatives of this little mirage beast were all high-level mirage beasts. Human. The high-leveled mirage beast that was gently caressing the small mirage beast suddenly opened its mouth. Its voice was like a great bell, falling heavily into Yiqing Luo's ears. It lowered its head and suddenly stretched out its tail towards Yiqing Luo. That huge, fluffy tail was the size of a thick tree. As its tail moved, the surrounding mercenaries held their breath vigilantly and released their profound qi, ready to go. Yiqing Luo looked down at the fluffy tail in front of her, pondered for a moment and stretched out her hand. Her body was curled up by the tail. Her body became light and she landed on the back of the high-level mirage beast. Yiqing Luo couldn't see the huge leopard-type mirage beast clearly as she sat in it. The surrounding mercenaries felt cold all over as they swallowed their saliva and looked at this scene in disbelief. What was the identity of this woman? High-level mirage beast. That was a high-level mirage beast. It actually took the initiative to invite a human to sit on its back. You know, all magical beasts had their own dignity. Even if one managed to tame a normal magical beast, it would take a long time to train it into one's own beast. Not to mention the high and mighty high-level mirage beast. To let a human ride on its back was a disgrace to the mirage beast. They were absolutely dreaming. This was absolutely a dream. Under everyone's shocked gaze, the high-level mirage beast turned around and carried Yiqing Luo into the depths of the forest. Yiqing Luo sat steadily on the back of the mirage beast. This seemingly hard as steel fur was exceptionally soft. Seeing the high-level phantom beast carrying her away, she subconsciously turned her head and looked in the direction of the treetops. The man in snow-white clothes was still standing in the wind with his hands behind his back. His jet-black hair fluttered in the wind, and his tall and straight figure exuded an aura that looked down on the world. That ordinary-looking face seemed especially unfathomable. Separated by a long distance, Yi-Ching Luo could still see the gentleness between the man's brows. As if sensing her gaze, the man's thin lips curled up slightly as he spat out two silent words. Yi-Ching Luo's heart suddenly skipped a few beats. She understood Dmo Xian's lips. Her cheeks suddenly flushed red. She turned her head away as if she was fleeing, no longer looking at him. He said, "I'll wait for you." She covered her chest with her fair hands as she felt her heart racing uncontrollably. This man, he had really put his flirting skills to good use. The right place, the right time. Coincidentally, it made her heart flutter. The high-leveled mirage beast's speed was extremely fast. Yi-Ching Luo could only feel the oncoming wind blowing against her face, biting cold. But the scorching temperature on her face could not be reduced by the gusts of wind. Until the high-level mirage beast brought her to the depths of the forest and stopped in front of a huge cave. Chapter 239. After arriving at the door, the high-level mirage beast swept its tail and dragged Yi-Ching Luo to the ground. Following that, the three high-level mirage beasts quickly transformed into ordinary leopard beasts. The little mirage beast also transformed into a little leopard with the same size as Chi-Chi and followed her mother. The four mirage beasts led Yi-Ching Luo into the cave. The cave was pitch black and the eyes of the beasts were emitting a faint green light, looking particularly eerie. Yi-Ching Luo had nothing to worry about. She didn't feel the slightest hostility from these mirage beasts. These mirage beasts probably had something to say to her. Not knowing how long they had walked, Yi-Ching Luo finally saw a glimmer of light. The four mirage beasts stopped in their tracks. This was the deepest part of the cave, surrounded by rock walls, and four luminous pearls were hanging on the four walls. The four mirage beasts sat on their knees. "Human, why are you able to form a contract with the greatest ancestor of the sacred beasts?" The high-level mirage beast's eyes swept over Chi-Chi and finally fell on Yi-Ching Luo. In the hearts of the mirage beasts, the ancestors of the sacred beasts were eternal legends in their hearts. It couldn't understand why one of the ancestors of the sacred beasts, the white tiger, would form a contract with an ordinary cultivator. Not waiting for Yi-Ching Luo to answer, the high-level mirage beast continued in a deep voice. "In the secret history of the beasts, our four great sacred beasts' ancestors used to be all-powerful and finally formed a contract with the Emperor of Gods. They followed the Emperor of Gods to conquer all the realms, sweeping the Nirvana realm and even the upper realm, creating countless legends." Speaking of the ancestors of the beasts, the high-level mirage beast's eyes were full of pure admiration. "The only master of the sacred beasts is the Emperor of Gods. Why? After the Emperor of Gods has been asleep for thousands of years, why did he choose an ordinary cultivator?" The mirage beast's question was directed at Chi-Chi. Listening to the high-level mirage beast talking about the secret history of the sacred beasts, Yi-Ching Luo's heart was filled with a strange feeling. She was also puzzled about this question. Old Man Tsang said that Chi-Chi was one of the four ancient sacred beasts, the white tiger. Then why did the sacred beasts choose her? Chi-Chi sat upright on Yi-Ching Luo's shoulder. A pair of dark tiger eyes quietly gazed at the high-level mirage beast. Although it was small, its whole body emitted the majesty of a sacred beast, causing the illusory beast to lower its head. However, he did not give up on this question. "Lord Holy Beast, why did you choose her?" "Awoo." Chi-Chi remained silent for a while before letting out a low howl. Yi-Ching Luo couldn't understand Chi-Chi's words. But the mirage beast could understand. Its eyes widened for a moment as it looked at Yi-Ching Luo in astonishment. However, in the blink of an eye, the beast's eyes returned to their previous tranquility. Human. The phantom beast suddenly lowered its body and lay on the ground. When the other two magical beasts saw this, they immediately followed behind it and did the same thing. This was the symbol of the highest etiquette of the illusory beast race. Human, can this beast ask you for a favor? The phantom beast's voice was a bit hoarse. Yi-Ching Luo frowned slightly as her gaze swept back and forth between Chi-Chi and the mirage beast. The expression on her face was slightly solemn. You speak first. The mirage beast licked its mouth and seemed to use all its strength to speak word by word. I hope you can contract Ju. One sentence stirred up thousands of waves. The little mirage beast roared a few times and stuck out its mouth to rub against the mirage beast's body, as if to say that it didn't want to leave. Contract this little mirage beast. Yi-Ching Luo understood that the reason why the mirage beast made this request was because of Chi-Chi's beast language. Chapter 240. A human who can form a contract with a sacred beast is bound to be able to walk the path of the strong. The mirage beast's eyes were full of seriousness. It nudged the little mirage beast's body, indicating it to lie down. Although the little mirage beast was somewhat unwilling, it still obediently lay down beside its mother. This beast hopes that can become a high-level mirage beast. The mirage beast continued, following this beast, it will never be able to grow, and... It paused, its eyes revealed a sad emotion, and it is not loved by the leopard clan. Yi-Ching Luo thought of the beast tide, when the little mirage beast was kicked and abandoned by several high-level leopard mirage beasts. When it looked at those mirage beasts, it touched her. Human, I believe you will take good care of my son, and lead him to the peak of the strong. The mirage beast's eyes were sincere. Yi-Ching Luo was silent. At first, she was indeed infected by the little mirage beast's eyes, and was very interested in it. But this little mirage beast was not abandoned by the other beasts, it had a mother who loved it. If she formed a contract with it, wouldn't it separate mother and son? Looking at this mirage beast's reluctance to part with the little mirage beast. Human, are you willing to listen to a story? Seeing Yi-Ching Luo remained silent for a long time, the mirage beast sighed softly. Yi-Ching Luo was slightly stunned, and nodded. The mirage beast climbed up from the ground, flicked its tail, and walked towards the corner of the cave. Yi-Ching Luo followed closely. Half a stick of incense later. Ending the conversation with the mirage beast, Yi-Ching Luo stared at the little mirage beast for a long time. If it is willing, I can form a contract with it. The little mirage beast raised its head, its brown eyes blinked. I swear, it will be my eternal partner. Yi-Ching Luo's eyes were firm. In my heart, it has the same position as Chi-Chi. Woof woof, Chi-Chi leaped onto Yi-Ching Luo's shoulder, rubbed her cheek, indicating that it agreed with all the master's decisions. Yi-Ching Luo's pink lips slightly hooked up into an amiable arc, stretched out her hand to the little mirage beast. If you are willing, come with me. Be it humans or beasts, they all have their own set of survival rules. If you want to have the ability to protect yourself and your loved ones, you must have undefeatable strength. If you want to possess such power, the only way is to keep fighting, keep challenging, and keep accumulating and growing. Are you willing to grow with me? The little mirage beast listened attentively to Yi-Ching Luo's words, its eyes sparkled incessantly. Yi-Ching Luo's words were exactly what it was thinking. But the little mirage beast knew that if it contracted with Yi-Ching Luo, it would never be able to see its mother again. The tiny claws hesitated for a long time, unable to take a step towards Yi-Ching Luo. Go, child. She will train you until you become strong enough. I will see you again. The magical beast choked with sobs, licked the little magical beast's fur, and immediately used its head to nudge the little magical beast's body. The small magical beast growled a few times. Slowly, he walked towards Yiqing Luo and stood in front of her. Yiqing Luo's lips curled up into a smile, the feather fan streaked across her fingertips, a drop of blood dripped onto the forehead of the little mirage beast. A ray of light shrouded the both of them. A diamond-shaped mark appeared on the forehead of the little mirage beast. The contract was completed. Human. Thank you. When it saw the diamond-shaped mark, the eyes of the mirage beast flashed with tears. This mark expressed Yiqing Luo's intentions. This was the lowest level of contract among the beast clans, peace contract. The contracted beast clan could choose to terminate the contract with the consent of the master at any time, and would not suffer any backlash or punishment. The mirage beast closed its eyes, its heart was completely at ease. Chapter 241. By the time Yiqing Luo returned to Dmo Xian's side, the beasts had dispersed. The remaining 30 mercenaries, under the command of the group leader, sat on the ground to rest. Yiqing Qian and Ling Fenghua stood by the side, arguing about something. When Yiqing Luo returned, everyone's gazes towards her were filled with reverence. That leopard beast. Could it be the high-level mirage beast just now? I heard that mirage beasts can transform their body shape, that seems to be it. Everyone looked over at the source of the commotion. They saw a leopard beast, leading a small leopard, head to head, following behind Yiqing Luo. Just now Yiqing Luo left with 3 high-level mirage beasts, and now she came back with 2 leopard beasts, one big and one small. Everyone naturally guessed that these 2 leopard beasts were the high-level mirage beasts just now. Yiqing Luo ignored this group of mercenaries. Her line of sight met with the man in white on the treetop. He leaned against the treetop and supported his head with one hand, his long black hair cascading down like smoke, his long narrow eyes slightly squinted, reflecting a demonic arc. That loose white robe made him look even more distinguished and lazy. Yiqing Luo's eyes rippled with a smile, turned her head to look at the mother and son pair, who were still dating, and moved her feet, leaving space for the mother and son. Presumably, the mother beast had a lot of words to say to its little Luo. Yiqing Luo had just moved under the tree, her waist suddenly tightened, a scorching hot chest had already covered her delicate back. The man's warm breath, directly sprayed on her neck. What's the result? I contracted that little mirage beast. Yiqing Luo was not used to it as she shrank her neck. Oh. Dmo Xian raised his brows slightly. Little Luo, this trip, you've earned a lot, your luck is not bad. Indeed, it was a profit. She followed Dmo Xian to the magic beast forest. The purpose was to find an opportunity to break through the mystic profound realm. Now she not only broke through, but also advanced to mystic profound 4th grade. What's more, she picked up a lot of magic cores and 1 or 2 magic crystals. Now she had contracted a leopard beast that could grow. I signed a peace contract with it. Yiqing Luo took a look at the little mirage beast that was still snuggling up to the mother beast. Her charming eyes were tinged with a trace of warmth. The contract is because I want to help it. Yiqing Luo succinctly told him what the mirage beast had told her. Shiju, that little phantom beast, was not a pure leopard beast. More accurately, it only had half of the bloodline of a leopard. This was the reason why it was abandoned by the other leopards. And the reason why Shiju could live safely until now was because its mother, that high-level mirage beast, was the king of the 5th level. However, even such an identity could not hide the fact that Shiju was not a pure leopard. When the mother beast wasn't around, it was spurned, mocked, and ridiculed by its fellow beasts. No leopard was willing to play with it. Apart from his mother, all of his relatives despised him. In particular, all of his relatives had been promoted to high-level phantom beasts. Only it was a low-level phantom beast. The Void Mother felt that it would be detrimental to Shiju's growth if it continued to stay by its side. Although Shiju had lived for hundreds of years, but in the Beast clan, it was equivalent to a 6 or 7-year-old child. When it longed for the love of its fellow beasts, the mockery from those beasts would form a scar, leaving a scar in Shiju's heart. Especially, something like today had happened. Chapter 242. The Void Mother realized that if this were to continue, the son she wanted to protect with all her heart might not be able to grow up normally. Because of this, when the mother beast saw Yiqing Luo, it endured its unwillingness to let Shiju and Yiqing Luo form a contract. Because Lord Holy Beast had said something. Because a human that the Lord Saint Beast had acknowledged would definitely be able to train its son. Because the beast race was the most sensitive to the changes in human emotions and hearts. It could tell that although Yiqing Luo looked cold and emotionless on the surface, but her heart was actually very kind. Finally, it hoped that I could bring Shiju to Shiju's father. Yiqing Luo's eyelashes drooped, but regarding Shiju's father's matter, it's not willing to say a single word more. Dmo Xian held her waist tightly as he laughed softly. Shiju only has half-leopard beast bloodline, which means that Shiju's father is not a leopard beast. The fact that this mother beast gave birth to Shiju in the magical beast forest alone means that something happened between it and Shiju's father. As soon as he finished speaking, he wrapped his arms even tighter around her. That elegant sandalwood scent lingered in Yiqing Luo's heart bit by bit. It doesn't want to talk about it because it doesn't want to talk about its past. Since it asked you to find Shiju's father, it must be because of Shiju's father. If he sees Shiju, he will definitely be able to recognize Shiju. Yiqing Luo nodded her head slightly. She had no choice but to admit that Dmo Xian's words of consolation had struck the spot in her heart. She raised her eyes and looked at the leopard and leopard cubs who were still rubbing against each other. Her clear eyes were filled with warmth. Actually, my Lil Luo's nature is still kind. Dmo Xian's slender fingers caressed Yiqing Luo's cheek. His slender and fair fingers had distinct joints and were extremely beautiful. Kindness. No matter if it was her previous life or this life, she would always be called heartless, bloodthirsty, demoness, and other similar comments. This was the first time someone had used this term on her. It was really unfamiliar. She was kind, but not to people. The sincere feelings of these two leopards were worthy of her kindness. Many times, beasts were more worthy of respect than humans. Humans could sacrifice their children for their own benefit. But beasts would not. Beasts would only place their closest kin in the most important position. Yiqing Luo stared at the two mirage beasts and did not notice that Dmo Xian had changed the way he addressed her. He had also neglected that she had admitted that she was Dmo Xian's little Luo, Yiqing Luo. Suddenly, Yiqing Qian's sharp voice was heard, "You fickle woman. How dare you hug another man in front of His Highness? If this matter reaches the ears of the old ancestor, you will suffer." From afar, Yiqing Luo could see the intense jealousy in Yiqing Qian's eyes. To Yiqing Qian, Yiqing Luo's disregard towards her was the greatest humiliation. That kneel was an indelible humiliation for Yiqing Qian in this lifetime. Yiqing Luo raised her brows and pushed the hand on her waist. This time round, Dmo Xian didn't take the opportunity to take advantage of Yiqing Luo as he obediently let go of his hand. Yiqing Luo's lips curled into a smile as her eyes were filled with a deep cold intent. If I didn't remember wrongly, as early as 3 months ago, Ling Fenghua had personally said that he wanted to request for a decree from the monarch to cancel our engagement. Chapter 243. 3 months ago. It just so happened that Ling Fenghua and Yiqing Qian were in their passionate love period. Ling Fenghua's face suddenly sunk as his gloomy eyes stared at Yiqing Qian. As though he was blaming Yiqing Qian for telling Yiqing Luo their private conversation. Yiqing Qian instantly felt extremely aggrieved. For Ling Fenghua, she even knelt down to Yiqing Luo, giving Yiqing Luo a chance to humiliate her. Ling Fenghua did not know how to be grateful, and even spoke coldly to her. The more Yiqing Qian thought about it, the more indignant she felt. But she didn't dare to flare up at Ling Fenghua, so she could only clench her teeth and suppress her anger, thinking of ways to shut Yiqing Luo's mouth. Seventh sister, you can eat whatever you want, but you can't say whatever you want. 3 months ago, His Highness often visited the Three Springs sect residence. When did he mention anything about breaking off the engagement with you? Since ancient times, there has been no reason for a woman to divorce her husband. You were just blinded by another man today. When she said other men, she specially took a glance at Dmo Xian. Her eyes were filled with disdain and ridicule. Only Yiqing Luo would take a fancy to such an ordinary man. I say, big sister, you can't have forgotten 3 months ago, you and Ling Fenghua were under the big tree in the garden. Yiqing Luo's voice paused as her charming eyes revealed a crafty smile. That tenderness between the both of you is really like a pair of lovers. Even I, who is tens of miles away, can hear that voice which makes one's ears turn red. Yiqing Qian was embarrassed and indignant, her face turned green and white as she trembled with anger. She wanted to teach Yiqing Luo a lesson, but she had not expected Yiqing Luo to be so stifled that she couldn't even say a single word. Yiqing Luo couldn't be bothered with her as she walked straight towards the mercenary group. The ground was littered with the corpses of wild beasts, and the smell of blood was extremely heavy. Yiqing Luo swept a glance at those corpses and immediately spread out her hands towards the group leader, magic cores and magic crystals. This impolite tone made the group leader stunned for a moment as he was unable to understand the meaning behind Yiqing Luo's words. Seeing his blank look, Yiqing Luo patiently explained, "Give me all the magic cores and magic crystals collected from the beast horde." Hiss, the mercenaries who were resting on the ground sucked in a cold breath. She had never seen someone so domineering and arrogant, so righteous. The guild leader's face also showed a bit of embarrassment. Although it was all thanks to Yiqing Luo that they were able to escape from danger in this beast tide. But after all, they had suffered heavy losses this time. They might not even be able to earn their employer's share of the money. Yiqing Luo had already led her little kitten to search for most of the magic cores. Moreover, she had also picked up a mana crystal. She had made a huge profit. Logically speaking, he shouldn't pursue the matter of the remaining monster cores with them. Speaking of magic cores, I haven't asked you yet. Yiqing Qian's hands under her sleeves clasped together tightly. This mercenary group is hired by Your Highness. Whatever they get from their hard work should belong to Your Highness. Contribute. Yiqing Luo curled her lips into a smile which didn't look like a smile. Her eyes narrowed as she looked at the group leader. How much effort did you put in? The leader's face stiffened and he lowered his head. At that time when the high-level mirage beast was chasing him, it was Yiqing Luo who made the most accurate calculation for him and warned him, which allowed him to survive. Yiqing Qian gritted her teeth and stared at the group leader resentfully. Then she looked at Yiqing Luo. In short, we have more people, so we should get more. Take out all your magic cores and that magic crystal. Yiqing Luo snorted lightly and rolled her eyes disapprovingly. She spread out her palm towards the group leader, magic cores and magic crystal. Chapter 244. Xia Houji. Yiqing Qian shouted in a low voice when she saw the group leader took out the brocade bag. Her facial features were distorted and she could no longer maintain her usual gentleness. You are a mercenary hired by His Highness and me. According to the mercenary group regulations, all your spoils of war today should be handed over to the employer. As she spoke, Yiqing Qian's figure flashed and quickly moved towards Yiqing Luo's direction. She stretched out her hand and tried to snatch the brocade bag from the group leader's hand. Pa! Yiqing Qian felt a burning pain on her wrist. An extremely clear red mark immediately appeared on her fair and slender wrist. Yi Qingqian sucked in a breath of cold air from the pain and hurriedly withdrew her hand as she grimaced in pain. Immediately, she watched as Yi Qingluo took the brocade bag from the group leader and weighed it a few times. Yi Qingluo. Yi Qingqian's arm was already numb and she didn't even have the strength to lift her hand. What did you do to me? Yi Qingluo ignored her and directly poured out some magic cores from the brocade bag. About 10 pieces of magic cores. She casually threw them towards the direction of the group leader. These are your compensation. The group leader stretched out his hand and kept the 10 pieces of magic cores in his palm. His sword-like eyebrows were tightly knitted together. His upright and plain-spoken face revealed traces of suppressed anger. 10 pieces of magic cores. Young lady, are you trying to humiliate us? The mercenaries' faces immediately darkened. Although they were filled with reverence towards an expert like Yi Qingluo. But they were a team. Even if Yi Qingluo was an expert, no matter how powerful she was, they would never allow her to humiliate their team in such a way. Yi Qingluo raised her eyebrows, her cold and charming eyes like the moon outlined a narrow arc. Humiliate? Are you worth my effort to humiliate you? The moment these words came out, those mercenaries' faces turned even uglier. They knew this girl was arrogant, but they didn't expect her to be arrogant to this extent. Yi Qingqian was so angry that her whole body was trembling. The more she trembled, the more painful the numbness of her wrist became. Suddenly, she felt a sweet taste in her throat and a mouthful of blood spurted out from her mouth. Yi Qingluo's words were obviously meant to ridicule her. The minute she recalled that she was forced to kneel down, Yi Qingluo actually left directly, totally disregarding her behavior. The fury in Yi Qingqian's heart burned even more vigorously. Your contribution today, deducting the cost of saving your lives, 10 pieces of magical beast cores is enough. Yi Qingluo sneered. Soon after, she placed the brocade bag into her sleeves and turned around to walk towards Dmo Xian. At this time, the sky was already beginning to brighten. If they stayed any longer, they would be late for the freshman training. Perhaps Yi Qingqian would catch hold of her weakness and report the matter of her sneaking out of the academy to the academy. One must know that the rules of the Heavenly Academy were extremely strict and would never allow students to leave the academy during non-holidays. The mother and son beast who were snuggling against each other, on seeing that Yi Qingluo's matter had been settled, the mother beast pushed Shiju over to Yi Qingluo's side. The Void Mother was extremely reluctant. But it understood that if it continued to stay, Shiju would probably be even more unwilling to leave it. It had finally made up its mind, but because of this reluctance, it would go back on its word. The mother beast's gaze slowly shifted onto Dmo Xian. Its eyes blinked and returned to Yi Qingluo. Immediately, it nodded its huge leopard head meaningfully. Looks like, even if I am not by Ju's side, it can still enjoy the warmth of home. Wait a minute. The Void Mother's eyes were filled with deep meaning and a teasing smile. What was going on? Chapter 245. Yi Qingluo tried to explain, but Dmo Xian didn't give her a chance. He used his actions to show the mother beast that it absolutely didn't misunderstand. Dmo Xian stretched out his long arm and held onto Yi Qingluo's waist. His thin lips curled up slightly, his pitch-black eyes revealed some tenderness. Don't worry, little Luo, will definitely do what he promised you. The strong and powerful arm imprisoned Yi Qingluo and she was unable to break free. The scorching hot chest was broad and thick. Yi Qingluo's cheeks flushed red as she slapped the hand on her waist fiercely. Yi Qingluo didn't notice that she had made such a delicate action of a little girl. The mother beast's eyes revealed an envious smile. Gradually, it became a little blurry. Its thoughts seemed to have drifted to a long time ago. It had such a sweet and warm period of time. 2 people and 1 beast finished their final farewell. A white 9-tailed fox descended from the sky. 9 white fluffy tails, wrapped around a luxurious carriage. A pair of enchanting beast eyes, exuding a majestic aura that made one subconsciously submit to it. When it saw the 9-tailed fox, the mother beast suddenly leaped in front of Yiqing Luo. Its fur suddenly stood up as it stared at the 9-tailed fox with extreme vigilance. It let out a low growl. This is not an enemy. Yiqing Luo hurriedly appeased the mother beast and pointed to Dmo Xian. This is his contracted battle pet. Little Nine stood quietly in the middle of the rubble, a fluffy tail stretched over and landed beside Yiqing Luo's feet. The mother beast let out a low growl as it stared vigilantly at that tail. Little Nine, it's been hard on you. Dmo Xian held on to Yiqing Luo as he walked towards that tail. Little Nine's tail immediately curled up and the both of them were firmly swept into the carriage. It was until the both of them were safely sitting outside the carriage that the mother beast's fur slowly softened. It stared at Dmo Xian with a somewhat strange gaze. Shiju, let's go. Yiqing Luo waved to that little leopard. Shiju turned its little head and stared deeply at the mother beast. Its little tongue licked its mouth a few times as it let out a low growl. Following that petite body scurried into Yiqing Luo's arms at lightning speed. His tiny head was buried between Yiqing Luo's wrist, unwilling to personally experience this parting. Yiqing Luo rubbed its little head. Don't worry, you'll be able to see your mother again very soon, trust me. Little Nine extended his 4 limbs, soaring into the air. The carriage floated in midair. In the blink of an eye, it seemed to have melted into the air and disappeared without a trace. The Void Mother followed the scent for a long distance, and finally stopped at the edge of the 4th level of the magical beast forest. 9-tailed fox, it can't be, right? That unattractive man who stood there like a fool from beginning to end is. The mercenaries raised their heads and looked in the direction where 9-tailed fox had disappeared, unable to regain their senses for a long time. Xiaoji withdrew his gaze, a complicated look in his eyes. He clenched his fist, and the 10 demon cores in his palm burned painfully. 9-tailed fox, there was only one person in the world who possessed such a pure and holy 9-tailed fox. That was the legendary figure of the Nirvana realm, Dizun. A woman who could be by the side of Dizun was naturally extraordinary. That lady had the capital to be arrogant. Your Highness, is that really Dizun? When Yiqing Qian saw that 9-tailed fox, her face turned ashen as she fell to the ground. Her originally meticulously dressed hair was disheveled, like a crazy woman. Her exquisite, elegant, and beautiful dress was also torn apart piece by piece. The current Yiqing Qian was extremely embarrassed. 9-tailed fox. Dizun. That man turned out to be Dizun. Idiot. Ling Fenghua's eyes were filled with unconcealable disgust. Chapter 246. Inside the carriage, Yiqing Luo was forcefully pulled into Dmo Xian's arms as she sat on him. The man's chin rested on Yiqing Luo's shoulder. As he spoke, he turned his head to look at Yiqing Luo's side profile. His warm breath made Yiqing Luo's petite body tremble slightly. Dmo Xian. Yiqing Luo tried her best to ignore the hot breath on her cheeks as she pursed her lips and spoke solemnly. There was a hint of seriousness in his tone. Dmo Xian's arms tightened. Did you ask Little Nine to create the beast tide? Yiqing Luo asked uncertainly. The mother beast's attitude towards Little Nine was obviously different from Chi-Chi. As a sacred beast, the mother beast had 100% respect for Chi-Chi. However, it was so hostile towards Little Nine. Although Little Nine was different from Chi-Chi, a holy beast, among the holy beasts. But after all, its status was above the mirage beasts. The only reason why the mother beast was so vigilant was Little Nine made use of his sacred beast's power to create this wave of beast tide. Because of this, the mother beast treated little Nine as an enemy. Yes. Dmo Xian was calm. Sure enough. Yiqing Luo's long curly lashes fluttered unnaturally. Why are you so concerned about me? She looked sideways and coincidentally met his eyes. Yiqing Luo leaned into his arms, their bodies were closely pressed against each other. Is my uniqueness so mesmerizing? He asked little Nine to create the beast tide just to let her grab the opportunity to break through to the mystic profound stage. He spent so much effort and wasted so much time just to stay by her side. Even if she had something on her that was worth Dmo Xian's interest, he could just let Wind keep an eye on her in the dark. There was no need to circle around her and use his charm to lure her to take the bait. You don't know how charming you are. The man's low and hoarse voice reverberated in her heart. It was like a feather, constantly scratching at the bottom of his heart. Dmo Xian's hand suddenly exerted force as he carried Yiqing Luo up and turned around. Yiqing Luo was completely straddling the man's lap at this moment. Face to face, 4 pairs of eyes looked at each other, their breaths on each other's face. Lil Luo, don't feel too touched, in future. There will be many more touching things. Dmo Xian's lips curled upwards as his finger caressed Yiqing Luo's eyes. When he first saw her, it was this pair of eyes that attracted his attention. The corners of her long and enchanting eyes shone with a piercingly cold light, but it didn't lose her purity. She was as cold as the moon and as dazzling as the moon. As the seductive light flowed, it also exuded a ruthlessness that did not match her face and age at all. This kind of ruthlessness came from the bones, a ruthlessness that was unyielding and unyielding. Her personality was just too much to his liking. The higher a profound practitioner cultivated, the longer their lifespan would be. Dmo Xian had once felt that in the long lonely years ahead, all he could do was to muddle along day by day, until he was sick of this kind of life. However, Yiqing Luo had inadvertently entered his eyes. It ignited his heart that had been cold and lonely for a long time. Perhaps, to find this scourge, to bring disaster to the heavens together with him, then the days ahead would be even more exciting. Dmo Xian gazed at Yiqing Luo's face as the smile on his lips became increasingly gentle, revealing an evil charm. Yiqing Luo pursed her pink lips but didn't reject Dmo Xian's hug. The man's gentle gaze, simple but warm words, every word and sentence, stirred up circles of ripples in Yiqing Luo's heart. Unknowingly, in this warm atmosphere, little Nine stopped at a corner not far away from the Heavenly Academy. Little Nine had calculated the time very accurately. In another 1 hour, it would be the freshman training time. Chapter 247. Dmo Xian's elegant brows were slightly hooked, his devilishly handsome face revealed a trace of charm because of the spirited look in his eyes. For a man to be able to display his flirtatiousness and laziness to the fullest without losing his fortitude, as well as his innate power to look down on the entire world, was something that was hard to describe. In this world, there was probably only Dmo Xian alone. Forgot again, how to call me. Dmo Xian lowered his head, his long arms once again took Yiqing Luo into his arms. Yiqing Luo's cheeks turned hot, recalling the Xian he asked her to call, her face became even hotter. Forgot, then let me make you remember. Just as the voice fell, Yiqing Luo's body felt light, her waist was tightly embraced by the man's arms. He had bent over her, and his lips were on hers. Gentle and deep, extremely lingering. As if all the emotions were melted into this kiss. Yiqing Luo's nose was filled with the man's rich sandalwood scent. Her mind, with a bang, went blank. The blush on her face seemed to spread throughout her body and mind, her whole body was ignited with a slight heat. Their black hair flew, intertwined together, 10 fingers clasped tightly, as if to indicate that they would be entangled together forever. Dmo Xian's arms around her waist, wrapped even tighter. His lips slowly moved to Yiqing Luo's ear, his breathing was heavy and scorching. "Call me." The low hoarse voice, with some kind of repressed emotion, made Yiqing Luo's eyes even more blurred. Her delicate body was almost hanging in Dmo Xian's arms, leaning on his chest, listening to her heartbeat, and hearing his unique charming whisper. Yiqing Luo thought there was probably no one in this world who could escape such temptation. Slender fingers subconsciously clenched the man's lapel. In her heart, a decision was formed. She was not the kind of person who liked to be tangled and let her imagination run wild. In her world, it was either black or white, there was no middle color. Like was like, hate was hate, she didn't like to guess. And because of this, after this decision was formed, Yiqing Luo had already raised her head, her charming eyes were suffused with flowing light, revealing some seriousness. "Dmo Xian, do you like me?" The man's pitch-black eyes reflected her face. Yiqing Luo could feel the sweat seeping out from her palms, she could feel her petite body tensing up, trembling slightly. Nervous. Filled with anxiety, she waited for Dmo Xian's answer. Between her and Dmo Xian, no one had ever opened their mouth to break this kind of ambiguity. Yiqing Luo didn't want to go on like this with him. Liking was liking. If he didn't like it, they should change the way they interacted. Otherwise, her heart would really be stirred by Dmo Xian. If he didn't love her, then he should cut off all possibilities as soon as possible. Maintaining a friendship was good for both of them. Dmo Xian Huan loosened his grip on her waist. That pair of obsidian-like devastating and dazzling black pupils stared at Yiqing Luo with a slightly deep expression. He didn't say a word and Yiqing Luo didn't rush him. After some time, it was until the academy's bell rang that Yiqing Luo restrained the nervousness in her heart as she clenched her fists. "Think carefully about what kind of relationship we should use to continue getting along. The next time we meet, I'll be waiting for your answer." Her thin lips slightly hooked, she pulled out the wooden token representing her own information from her waist and handed it to Dmo Xian. "Help me do something to cover up my profound grade." This wooden token would be updated once a day. It would change the information of the holder of the wooden token in time. If the people in the academy found out that she had advanced from Yellow Profound 9th grade to Mystic Profound 4th grade overnight, it would definitely attract the attention of the academy. Chapter 248. Dmo Xian's eyes were deep as he stared at Yiqing Luo's face for a long time before he received the wooden token. He placed both hands on the wooden token and immediately returned it to her. "If you want to change the profound grade information on the wooden token, just use the power of the profound jade heart." Yiqing Luo nodded and kept the wooden token, thanked him and turned to walk towards the academy. Dmo Xian didn't stop her but stared deeply at her back until she disappeared from his sight before he retracted his gaze. The lady's clear and serious voice rang in his ears. "Dmo Xian, do you like me?" Right. If he didn't like her, he wouldn't have allowed Yiqing Luo to offend him again and again. He wouldn't be willing to stay by her side and pay attention to everything about her. But, this kind of like, was it love? He understood the meaning behind Yiqing Luo's question. He knew what Yiqing Luo wanted. But, he couldn't answer. After living for so long, Dmo Xian had never loved anyone. As for love, he couldn't understand it. He couldn't tell if he could give Yiqing Luo the kind of feeling she wanted. Back at the dormitory, Yiqing Luo placed Shiju and Chi-Chi into the pet space. She quickly fetched a basin of water for herself, washed up and quickly dressed up. Just in time for the freshman training. After 2 days of habit, the moment instructor Ho gave the order, the students didn't waste their saliva to complain as they lined up and started running around the square. Sure enough, as Yiqing Luo expected. Just when she was on the 4th lap, Yiqing Qian led Lu Shuiyu to the square. The moment they saw the students from the high profound class, and 2 beautiful ladies at that, the freshmen looked over. "It's the senior sister from the high profound class and the vice president." Isn't that the genius Missy from Three Springs sect? No wonder she's the #1 beauty in Three Springs town, she looks so good. Listening to the exclamations of the crowd, Yiqing Luo snorted disdainfully. Yiqing Qian saw Yiqing Luo, who was jogging in front from afar. Her well-manicured eyebrows frowned. That slut really left the academy last night. Lu Shuayu's brows were filled with coldness as she asked coldly. Yiqing Qian smiled eerily. His Highness told me personally. She cleverly covered up the fact that she had also left the academy last night, and used Ling Fenghua as a shield. According to the academy's rules, as long as we can prove that the little bitch really left the academy last night, she had a way to chase Yiqing Luo out of the academy. Lu Shuayu's eyes were cold, and the corners of her mouth curved into a sinister smile. When Instructor Chu saw Lu Shuayu, his expressionless face frowned and showed some disgust. He walked over and said in a cold voice, "Why did the Vice President come to the square?" The Faculty Council has received a secret report that one of the freshmen has violated the Academy's rules. I have come here to verify the situation, Lu Shuayu said in a businesslike manner. Instructor Chu frowned and subconsciously glanced at the completely unaffected Yiqing Luo, who was still jogging. For Lu Shuayu to make an appearance, it was probably related to Yiqing Luo. A tall tree attracts the wind. This new student was too outstanding and had a stubborn personality. He had made too many enemies, and every day, trouble would come to him. Sure enough, he heard Lu Shuayu said, "Instructor, please call student Yi over." Instructor Chu was about to speak when a cold voice came from behind. "The students are training. If there's anything, the Vice President will come after the training is over." It was Instructor Ho. Chapter 249. Lu Shuayu's expression stiffened, as if she had not expected Instructor Ho to not give her any face. Yiqing Qian furrowed her brows, pretending to be gentle, but a trace of jealousy seeped out. "Instructor, if this freshman really violates the rules, he will be driven out of the academy. Whether he is trained or not, it doesn't matter anymore. As long as she is still a student of the Heavenly Academy, she is my student." Instructor Ho snorted coldly without giving her any face. He had never liked to talk, but now he was staring at Yiqing Qian, preaching. As a student of the high profound class, if you have so much time to care about the freshmen, you might as well cultivate diligently. Don't embarrass the high profound class. Yiqing Qian's face suddenly darkened, her hands clenched into fists, suppressing the surging anger in her heart. Although Instructor Ho was just a freshman training instructor, but he had trained many elite students and had quite a prestige in the academy. Moreover, the Heavenly Academy emphasized on respecting the teachers, and now that she was reprimanded, Yiqing Qian could not refute a word. Instructor is right. Lu Shuayu waited for Instructor Ho to finish and continued, "I called Yiqing Qian to accompany me, because the freshman who was tipped off is Yiqing Luo." She raised her voice slightly. The freshmen who were running on the square heard her words. One by one, they looked at Yiqing Luo, who was jogging at a constant speed, and whispered to each other. Why was it that every day, this freshman could create some trouble, causing them, a group of freshmen, to be criticized and pointed at by other students all day long? Instructor must be very clear about student Ye's character. Student Yiqing Qian is student Ye's elder sister. I specially called her over to have a good talk with her. Lu Shuayu's words not only helped Yiqing Qian out of trouble, but also belittled Yiqing Luo as a problem student who refused to be disciplined. Instructor Ho frowned slightly and was about to speak, but Lu Shuayu had already passed him and walked directly towards the square. She stood beside the inner line of the square. Yiqing Luo jogged and came face to face. "Student Yi, please follow me to the Faculty Council." Lu Shuayu stretched out her arm and blocked Yiqing Luo's way. Yiqing Luo's footsteps were steady and her breathing was steady. She raised her eyes and glanced at Lu Shuayu indifferently, as the corners of her lips tugged upwards in disdain. She bypassed Lu Shuayu's hand and continued to jog. Lu Shuayu's raised arm froze in midair, her face ashen. Yiqing Luo actually dared to throw her face in front of so many students. If Yiqing Luo wasn't taught a lesson, these freshmen would really think that faculty council was easy to bully. Student Yi, I order you in the name of the Vice President of the Faculty Council to cooperate with all the investigations of the Faculty Council. If you don't abide by the Academy's rules, don't blame me for reporting this to the principal. Lu Shuayu narrowed her eyes. Her expression was dignified. The students were in an uproar. One by one, they retracted their necks, afraid that they would be involved in this matter. If he were to report this to the principal, he would definitely be expelled from the academy. If he was forced to leave by the Heavenly Academy, the other academies would not accept him nor dare to accept him. This also meant that after being chased out of the Heavenly Academy, his entire life would be ruined. What right do you have to investigate just because you say so? Lu Xiaoyu panted heavily as she ran to Lu Shuayu's side and stopped in her tracks. Her little face was filled with anger. Due to the long period of jogging, her face was flushed red from holding back. Just entered the academy and the faculty council forcefully escorted Qing Luo to the faculty council, saying what investigation? It's only been a few days and you're already finding excuses to say what investigation. Do you really think that you're the god of the academy and everyone revolves around you? Lu Xiaoyu spat out fiercely, her face was filled with disdain. If you have the ability, get me into the devil class too. You're just a lackey of the faculty council and you really think that you're a human. Chapter 250. No matter how cool Lu Shuayu was, being scolded by a freshman at this time, the anger in her heart was burning. Lu Xiaoyu, you publicly insulted your senior and insulted the staff of the faculty council. Believe it or not, I can expel you from the academy just based on these 2 points. Yo, Lu Xiaoyu put her hands on her hips, puffed out her chest, and looked like a rascal. It turns out that the faculty council is such a place to bully people. Well, I want to see what means you people from the faculty council are going to use to bully a freshman like me. Lu Shuayu's face was as black as charcoal, her malicious and resentful eyes stared at Lu Xiaoyu. If it wasn't in public, Lu Shuayu would definitely slap her in the face. When the freshmen and seniors around saw this scene, they were all mourning for Lu Xiaoyu. It was the first time they saw someone daring to openly provoke the faculty council. Did these 2 freshmen not want to live anymore? Did they not want to stay in the academy anymore? Many students were in an uproar, and there was a lot of discussion. The more they discussed, the darker Lu Shuayu's face became. That pair of malicious eyes shot out a ruthless intent. As the vice president of the faculty council, this identity could help Lu Shuayu get a lot of things in the academy. But at the same time, she would also lose a lot of things. For example, no matter how angry she was, she must suppress all the anger. On the surface, she must not let any students catch her in the slightest. Lu Shuayu took a deep breath and suppressed her anger. She gritted her teeth and spat out each word. The purpose of the faculty council's existence is to maintain the peace of the academy, to maintain the order of the academy. We don't want to be gods in the eyes of the students. The only thing we want is that when any student is in trouble, the faculty council can provide them with help. Student E was secretly reported, so the faculty council naturally needs to ask student E to verify it. After explaining till here, Lu Shuayu's head that was clouded by anger was much clearer. Her eyes were gloomy, and she snorted coldly, but you, as a freshman, have been secretly reported again and again. That is your own problem, how can you blame it on the faculty council? Your words are even better than your singing. Lu Xiaoyu spat again. Just as he was about to open his mouth to ridicule Lu Shuayu, he suddenly heard a clear voice, so your faculty council is a place where you can hear the wind and hear the rain. At the end of the public square, Yiqing Luo was holding a white handkerchief, wiping the tears on her forehead as she walked over slowly. She had finished the 5 laps that the instructor had set for all the students, and she had run one more lap. Originally, Yiqing Luo was prepared to try running 10 laps today. But now, she saw Lu Xiaoyu arguing with Lu Shuiyu because of her. With Lu Xiaoyu's personality, the two of them would probably fight. The other party had his own influence and status in the academy. If they were to fight head-on, Lu Xiaoyu would definitely not be able to gain any advantage. Might as well, Yiqing Luo planned to settle the faculty council's trivial matters first before completing all the training in one go. I request to report this to the faculty council. The president and vice president of the faculty council have a strange habit. They always like to go to the dormitories one by one to peek at the female students bathing after the freshmen's training. Yiqing Luo raised her brows, her voice was clear and melodious. Almost everyone in the square could hear her teasing words. Pfft, peeping at female students, the students laughed out loud on the spot. One by one, they began to imagine the scene of the mysterious president, pulling along the elegant and noble vice president, peeping at the female students bathing together. After they finished imagining, their expressions were strange. Even the gaze that looked at Lu Shuiyu revealed some strange and ridiculing. Chapter 251. You, what nonsense are you talking about? Lu Shuiyu's pretty face flushed red, her eyes were as vicious as ice. President is elegant and holy, he is busy with the school's official affairs, how could he do such a dirty thing? Student Yi, if you continue to create trouble, I will bring you to the dean right now. Yiqing Luo sneered, she couldn't help but shake her head and sigh. Si Yanmu was really capable, he actually charmed Lu Shuiyu into submission. Being slandered, Lu Shuiyu was only worried about Si Yanmu's reputation, she didn't care about herself at all. Lu Shuiyu's feelings towards Si Yanmu was totally a kind of sick obsession. Yiqing Luo shrugged her shoulders, spread out her hands and said helplessly, if the faculty council does not investigate, how can you prove that the president will not do such a dirty thing? How can you prove that you don't have such a special hobby? You are slandering me. This was the first time for Lu Shuiyu to meet such a sharp-tongued freshman. She had never suffered any humiliation, but she had fallen into Yiqing Luo's trap again and again. She was so angry that her face turned ugly. Seeing that the situation was once again under Yiqing Luo's control, Lu Shuiyu couldn't say a word. Yiqing Qian's eyes were cold, revealing a hint of murderous intent. She clenched her fists, and when she looked up, the resentment in her eyes dissipated, revealing a kind smile and walked towards Yiqing Luo. Seventh sister, Shuiyu is the vice president of the faculty council, she has been in the school for many years, the school knows her temperament best. Yiqing Qian put on a caring look, stretched out her hand to pull Yiqing Luo's wrist. You can do whatever you want at home, but this is the Heavenly Academy, if there is no evidence, don't talk nonsense. Yiqing Luo avoided her hand and patted her wrist with a disgusted look, investigating me without any explanation, does the faculty council have any evidence? If there is no evidence, what right do you have to look for me again and again? After a pause, a crafty look flashed past her eyes, and her lips revealed a coquettish smile. It is said that the faculty council is established for students to study well in the school, now what vice president is doing is considered as harassing a freshman like me. She raised her eyebrows and straightened her uniform. Since the vice president said that he would bring me to see the dean, then let's do it. I can also ask the dean, is the faculty council really established for the academy to harass students and prevent students from training? Yiqing Luo's words made the surrounding students stunned by her domineering manner. This new student was simply too arrogant. Yet, so arrogant, so handsome and domineering. This kind of arrogance, when displayed by Yiqing Luo, was a kind of temperament. It was a temperament that made it impossible for people to feel disgusted by such arrogance. Lu couldn't help but feeling. Lu Shuayu was rendered speechless. Her face, which had always been cold and elegant, was now flushed with embarrassment. Yi Qingqian secretly gritted her teeth. It wasn't easy for the faculty council to come forward, she must not miss this opportunity. If she did not give last, Yi Shui Qingqing, she was as a, Yi Qing, not, last night, Yi was, she, Qing had Yi Qing. You want evidence? She really had evidence. Yi Qingqian sneered, and in the blink of an eye, the gentle mask hung on her face again. Evidence. Of course there is evidence, otherwise sister will not accompany vice president to question you. Yi Qingqian pinched her soft voice and set out the academy's rules. The academy's rules are written very clearly. During the period of time in the academy, other than holidays, you are not allowed to leave the academy. If you violate the academy's rules, you will be expelled immediately. Chapter 252. Yi Qing Luo propped up her chin, a trace of doubt surfaced on her fair face. Last night? After training last night, I rested in the dormitory. When did I leave the academy? His Highness saw it with his own eyes. You and a strange man appeared in the magic beast forest. Yi Qingqian's beautiful eyes were filled with a gentle light as she said softly, "Tell him everything now, be honest and I will plead for leniency to the academy for you." She deliberately concealed Dmo Xian's identity. If it involved the overlord, the academy would probably not punish Yi Qing Luo too heavily on account of the overlord. What she wanted was for Yi Qing Luo to leave the heavenly academy forever, to be reviled and ridiculed by the world, never to recover from this setback. Waste should live a waste's life. However, there was no hint of fear on Yi Qing Luo's face. Elder sister is amazing, you didn't leave the academy and could meet with His Highness, and even get news about me from him. Don't tell me. Elder sister also sneaked out of the academy last night, to meet with His Highness. Yi Qing Luo blinked her eyes innocently. So elder sister and His Highness have such a good relationship, you can't help it even after a day. Previously in Three Springs sect, elder sister and His Highness had a secret meeting every night. I didn't expect elder sister and His Highness to still be so close after coming to the academy. Yi Qingqian's face turned green and white, with some panic in her eyes. Yi Qing Luo really dared to say anything. This kind of private talk, although Yi Qing Luo didn't say it in detail, but who in the crowd didn't understand? Many students had long heard that Three Springs City's #1 beauty, Three Springs sect's eldest missy, Yi Qingqian, had an affair with His Highness behind her sister's back. But rumors were after all rumors, without any confirmation, everyone just treated it as a joke and let it pass. But now, they heard it with their own ears. The main character of the rumor said these words personally. The matter of Yi Qingqian and His Highness secretly having an affair was true. Many students looked at Yi Qingqian with all kinds of gazes. Some bold male students stared at Yi Qingqian's beautiful figure, unbridled. If it was any other time, when Yi Qingqian heard this, she would definitely nod proudly to admit it and humiliate Yi Qing Luo. But now, under the watchful eyes of the crowd, if she admitted to what she had said, her reputation would be completely ruined. Seventh younger sister, what are you talking about? There's nothing between His Highness and me. Yi Qingqian pretended to be shocked and picked up the embroidered handkerchief to suppress the non-existent tears in the corner of her eyes. His Royal Highness is your fiancé. As the future crown princess, you've been slandering His Royal Highness behind his back all day long. If you marry him in the future, you'll be the one being laughed at. Yi Qing Luo sneered, going against your conscience to say such words, you really can endure it. No wonder the crown prince is so infatuated with you. Yi Qingqian's face turned paler by the minute. She felt that the gazes of the students around her were filled with ridicule and obscenity. The taut string in his brain snapped, the gentle mask on Yi Qingqian's face gradually cracked. Just as she was about to open her mouth to argue with Yiqing Luo, a hand was placed on her shoulder. That hand grabbed her shoulder and flung it away casually. "I have no interest to listen to the matter of you two sisters fighting over a man." Lu Shuayu's icy cold voice was heard. "The purpose of my visit today is to verify whether student Yi has violated the rules. Other matters can be discussed later." Chapter 253. In order to suppress an explosive topic, a more explosive and eye-catching topic would have to be produced. The endless dispute would only make the surrounding people remember this matter for a longer time. Lu Shuayu raised her head coldly and spread out her hand towards Yiqing Luo. "Take out your school's wooden token." Yiqing Luo snorted lightly. "Do you think I'll take it out just because you say so? This is the evidence." Lu Shuayu saw that she didn't take it out and thought she was feeling guilty, so she immediately became more confident. "The Crown Prince mentioned that you had a breakthrough in the magic beast forest last night. As long as you take out your school's wooden token for verification, you will be cleared." This was indeed the biggest evidence. Yiqing Luo wanted to prove that she didn't violate the rules and left the academy. She would know the authenticity of the wooden token when she took it out. If she was still in the yellow profound 9th grade, then the faculty council would make things up out of nothing. But if Yiqing Luo had really advanced, then, the matter of Yiqing Luo leaving the academy was 80% true. Yiqing Luo's face froze, secretly bit her lower lip, a trace of panic flashed across her eyes. This panic was fleeting. But it still didn't escape Lu Shuayu's eyes. She laughed secretly in her heart. Her cold and arrogant face also revealed a trace of a smile. "Student Yi, didn't you say that you were in the dormitory last night? Since that's the case, take out the school's wooden token to prove your innocence." Yiqing Luo's hand, placed on the wooden token on her waist, and took a few steps back. But there was no change in her sweet and exquisite face. She snorted coldly. "Vice President's action will make me feel that you are insulting my character. On the first day in the academy, Vice President framed me for bullying my roommate, forcing me to prove my innocence. Today, you framed me for violating the rules, forcing me to prove my innocence again. The faculty council's action, in my opinion, is questioning my character, insulting my character." Yiqing Luo's reaction, in the eyes of Lu Shuayu and Yiqing Qian, was a sign of a guilty conscience. In other words, Yiqing Luo's school's wooden token had absolutely changed. Yiqing Luo's current words were all because of her guilty conscience, not daring to take out the academy's wooden token. "Take out the wooden token, otherwise I will assume that you have a guilty conscience and are unwilling to hand over the evidence." Lu Shuayu narrowed her eyes, not wanting to argue with Yiqing Luo over other things. Yiqing Jian was an idiot and would be led by the nose by Yiqing Luo. But she wasn't. If she were to respond to Yiqing Luo's words, she was afraid that Yiqing Luo would use the secret report on her and see Yanmu peeping at the female students bathing to stop her. Lu Shuayu only insisted on one thing, and that was to hand over the wooden token to prove that Yiqing Luo had violated the rules. "On what basis do you insist that the wooden token is the evidence?" Yiqing Luo clenched the wooden token on her waist tightly in her palm, her slender brows knitted tightly. "Can the faculty council malign the freshmen at will? All right. As long as you can prove your innocence and prove that the faculty council has wronged you, I will promise you one thing unconditionally." Previously, when Lu Shuayu heard Yiqing Qian's words, she had some suspicions in her heart. Although Yiqing Qian had brought out Ling Fenghua, but who could determine whether this was Yiqing Qian's lie or not? But at this time, under Yiqing Luo's covert hint, Lu Shuayu completely believed Yiqing Qian's words. Yiqing Luo was waiting for Lu Shuayu to fall into the trap. Between her brows, there was a treacherous sneer, but her lips were slightly pursed as she looked towards Yiqing Jian. Chapter 254. You trust my eldest sister so much. Yiqing Luo pursed her lips, struggling to lower her eyes, and stared at the wooden token on her waist. She looked like she was making a final struggle. I'm just doing what a vice president should do. Yiqing Luo's fingers curled up as she approached Lu Shuaiyu and spoke in a voice that only the both of them could hear. Aren't you afraid that Yiqing Qian knew that we are not on good terms and is using you to suppress my arrogance? Lu Shuaiyu's face was cold as she snorted. Does she have the guts? The faculty council status in the academy could be said to be second only to one but above tens of thousands. Although Yiqing Qian was the Missy of Three Springs sect, in this academy, she had to obey the rules. Yiqing Qian naturally did not dare to offend the faculty council. Dare to lie to her. Was it possible? Then, what if? Yiqing Luo seemed to be trying her best to convince Lu Shuaiyu. What if I take out the wooden token to prove my innocence? In the end, the one who will be accused of bullying others would be the faculty council. However, Lu Shuaiyu had never thought that Yiqing Luo was digging a pit for her step by step. And she, foolishly followed Yiqing Luo into the pit. You don't need to worry about this. Lu Shuaiyu frowned impatiently. Just give me the wooden token and don't waste your training time. Yiqing Luo's face showed a helpless look as her pink lips trembled slightly. After a while, she untied the wooden token from her waist. The one who reported that I violated the academy's rules is my eldest sister. I will take responsibility for my own actions. Since it was Big Sister who reported it, I won't implicate the vice president. Yiqing Luo put on an understanding look. If my innocence is proven, I only need eldest sister to promise me one thing. Sure. Lu Shuaiyu thought that Yiqing Luo was struggling at the last moment. Anne. I need an apology from you. Yiqing Luo's eyes flashed slightly as her lips curled into a smile. Lu Shuaiyu hesitated for a moment before nodding. No problem. Yiqing Luo flicked her fingers and the wooden token fell into Lu Shuaiyu's palm. She had long guessed that Yiqing Qian would absolutely take the opportunity to create trouble. The function of the wooden token automatically updating her profound rank was indeed too easy to expose all her information. Fortunately, she had such a heaven-defying man by her side. Dmo Xian used his profound energy to replace the original energy in the wooden token. Unless one's profound grade was higher than Dmo Xian's, it was impossible to detect the changes in the wooden token. Because of this, when Lu Shuaiyu held the wooden token and used her profound energy to check, she discovered the information displayed on it. Name, Yiqing Luo. Gender, female. Age, 15. Profound rank, yellow. Profound 9th grade. Identity, young lord of the Three Springs sect, 7th miss of the Yi clan. Lu Shuaiyu's expression changed slightly as she glanced sideways at Yiqing Qian's direction. Yiqing Qian's face was filled with complacency, as though she had foreseen Yiqing Luo's expulsion from the academy. That expression did not seem to be fake. Lu Shuaiyu's palm swept across the wooden tablet again. However, the information displayed was still the same. Yellow. Profound 9th grade. Yellow. Profound 9th grade. No matter how you looked at it, the profound rank was yellow. Profound 9th grade. When Yiqing Luo entered the academy, she was already at yellow. Profound 9th grade. Yiqing Luo did not break through at all. This also meant that the academy's wooden token was proof that Yiqing Luo did not leave the academy last night. She did not violate the academy's rules. Lu Shuaiyu's face turned ashen as she gripped the wooden token tightly, almost crushing it into pieces. How much longer does Vice President want to look? Yiqing Luo's lips curled up as she tilted her head innocently. Can you return the wooden token to me? Innocent. My foot. Chapter 255. Lu Shuaiyu's gaze was icy cold. She was so angry that she couldn't stop trembling. This was the first time she was toyed with by a freshman. While Lu Shuaiyu hated Yiqing Luo, she also hated Yiqing Qian. If it wasn't for Yi Qing Qian, she wouldn't be able to appear here today and wouldn't bring shame to the faculty council. If Si Yanmu's reputation was damaged, how could she be at ease? How could she be reconciled? Lu Shuaiyu secretly cursed herself in her heart. For so many years, she had been calm when she encountered things. Other than Si Yanmu, nothing else could stir up her emotions. But unfortunately, in front of Yi Qing Luo, she repeatedly lost control. She didn't even notice the change in Yi Qing Luo. From the beginning, Yi Qing Luo had deliberately created an illusion that there was a problem with her wooden token, to deceive her eyes. If she was a little more attentive, Lu Shuaiyu might be able to discover that Yi Qing Luo's attitude was completely different from the usual insolence. I have misunderstood student Yi. After a long while, Lu Shuaiyu gritted her teeth and squeezed out these few words one by one. She handed the wooden token back. Yi Qing Luo took it and pinned it on her waist again. I have said from the beginning that this is a misunderstanding, but Vice President chose to believe my eldest sister. I have no choice. Lu Shuaiyu's face was gloomy, her eyes glanced at Yi Qing Qian and sneered, since it is a misunderstanding, then I shall not disturb student Ye's training. After that, she flicked her sleeves and walked quickly towards Yi Qing Qian's direction. Wait! Yi Qing Luo called out to Lu Shuaiyu, her brows raised slightly, revealing a hint of ridicule. Vice President, you still owe me an apology. Her innocence was proved. Yi Qing Qian unconditionally agreed to a request of hers. And Lu Shuaiyu wanted to apologize to her in front of so many students. Vice President promised me in front of so many students, don't tell me you want to go back on your words. Yi Qing Luo raised her brows. Finishing her words, as she stared at Lu Shuaiyu with a vicious glare, Yi Qing Luo waved her hand helplessly. All right, since Vice President wants to go back on her words, then forget it, it's just an apology. My innocence has been confirmed, that's enough. Such magnanimity and knowing when to advance and retreat, made Lu Shuaiyu's face turn black. F***ck. Yi Qing Luo had already said so. If she really didn't apologize and put on the airs of the Vice President, who knows how this group of students would talk about the faculty council behind their backs. Lu Shuaiyu was so angry that her face turned ashen, as she cursed Yi Qing Qian in her heart. She took a deep breath and turned around, facing Yi Qing Luo's direction, spitting out 3 words one by one, I'm sorry. Yi Qing Luo dug her ears and raised her voice, oh. What did you say? Why can't I hear it clearly? Who are you apologizing to, and why? Yi Qing Luo's words made the students present as well as the instructors stunned. Holy shit! Was there anyone who rubbed their noses in the face like this? Yet, Shi Feng still dared to make fun of the vice guild leader, who had always been cold and aloof, lower his head and apologize. In the entire academy, probably only Yi Qing Luo alone dared to do this. Listening to the discussions of the surrounding students, Lu Shuaiyu's face became increasingly gloomy. She suppressed her anger and clenched her fists. Student Yi, I sincerely apologize to you on behalf of the faculty council. I shouldn't have misunderstood you for breaking the rules. Chapter 256. As long as student Yi doesn't do anything that violates the Academy's rules or the Academy's balance, the faculty council will naturally not look for you. Lu Shuaiyu resisted the urge to vomit blood and turned to leave. Wait. Yi Qing Luo opened her mouth to call out to her again. Previously Vice President said that if you've wronged me, then you must agree to one request of mine, and this request was passed to my eldest sister, so it should still count, right? Lu Shuaiyu coldly snorted, of course. When Yi Qing Qian heard this, she realized that something was wrong and her expression changed drastically. How could it be possible? She definitely went to the magic beast forest last night. Student Yi Qing Qian, if there's no evidence and you speak without thinking, the faculty council can fabricate false news to deceive the members of the faculty council and bring you back to the faculty council for guidance. Lu Shuiyu shot a cold glance at Yi Qingqian as she avoided her outstretched hand. When Lu Shuiyu saw her, she felt extremely vexed. I'm not lying, she definitely went to the magic beast forest last night and even advanced. That wooden token isn't. Yi Qingqian froze on the spot in shock. Profound rank, yellow profound 9th grade. Lu Shuiyu glanced at her coldly. Classmate Ye's profound level is normal, there are no signs of advancement. If a profound practitioner was about to advance, or had already advanced, profound chi fluctuations would seep out from the Academy's wooden plaque. Whereas on Yi Qing Luo's wooden token, other than the stable yellow profound 9th grade profound chi, there wasn't the slightest bit of profound chi. Impossible. Yi Qingqian's eyes widened as she cried out in disbelief. She had witnessed with her own eyes that in the battle between Yi Qing Luo and Lang Fenghua, Yi Qing Luo had broken through to the mystic profound grade and had even directly advanced 4 grades. The Academy's wooden token would absolutely update Yi Qing Luo's latest grade. How could it still be at the yellow Xian 9th grade? How could there be no profound waves? Yi Qingqian was puzzled. Big sister, I've been obedient and followed the rules since I was young. Why would I break the rules of the Academy? Yi Qing Luo laughed lightly as she brushed her long hair behind her head. Since Vice President has already promised me on behalf of eldest sister, then we have to do things according to the rules. Even if we are sisters, we have to settle the accounts clearly. Obedient. Yi Qingqian's lips twitched as her face was filled with disgust. She really couldn't tell which part of Yi Qing Luo was so obedient. Hearing Yi Qing Luo's last sentence, Yi Qingqian's face turned ashen. Agree to a request from Yi Qing Luo. Would she be able to survive? Why is big sister's face so pale? You don't have to be afraid. After all, big sister was also deceived by the crown prince. Chapter 257. A slut would be tormented by a wicked person. Just like Yi Qingqian, she usually bullied others, but in front of Lu Shuiyu, she became timid. Under the influence of Yi Tianquang, Yi Qingqian still had her inferiority complex. As the eldest daughter of the Yi family, the eldest daughter of the Three Springs sect, she was just a concubine's daughter. No matter how famous her name was, no matter how much Yi Tianquang doted on her, it couldn't change the fact that she was born of a concubine. In particular, Yi Qingqian learned a bit from Yi Tianquang's fawning manner. Towards the faculty council, Yi Qingqian always had a fawning attitude. As Yi Qing Luo said, this was Lu Shuiyu's request. But Yi Qing Luo put this request on her, and Lu Shuiyu also acquiesced. If she didn't agree, it would be a slap on Lu Shuiyu's face, making her lose her face. Yi Qingqian's gentle and delicate face could no longer maintain her fairy-like mask. Her facial features were hideous, distorted and horrifying. Yi Qing Luo had this idea from the beginning. She wanted to make it hard for her to back down. Refusing would offend Lu Shuiyu, if not, her reputation would be ruined, and she would become a joke in the Heavenly Academy forever. Eldest sister, I still have other training to do, I won't waste time with you here. Yi Qing Luo smiled elegantly, her eyes were gleaming. This flowing light revealed a strong sense of ridicule and ridicule. Yi Qingqian was so angry that she couldn't say a word. She heard Yi Qing Luo continue to laugh. There's no time like the present, eldest sister shall start from today. Yi Qing Luo, you. Not waiting for Yi Qingqian to speak, Yi Qing Luo directly interrupted her and looked at Lu Shuiyu with a sweet and harmless smile. Vice President is a person who keeps her promise. I think she will definitely supervise my eldest sister to complete the request. The two women, bright and beautiful faces, were as black as the bottom of a pot. The target they wanted to deal with was smiling like a flower, stretching her limbs, while returning to the inner track, jogging again. Shui you, I can't. Yi Qingqian's face was ashen, turned to Lu Shuiyu, trying to plead. Lu Shuiyu gave a cold humph. Student Yi Qingqian, this is how you play with my trust in you. Very well, since student Yi has already stated her request, you can go and do it now. I will let the members of the faculty council supervise you. Saying that, she didn't bother about Yi Qingqian, whose face was as pale as paper as she flicked her sleeves and left the square. Yi Qingqian was in disbelief. This was clearly a request that Lu Shuiyu had agreed to. Could it be that Lu Shuiyu really wanted her to clean the toilet? On the track, Lu Shuiyu caught up with Yi Qing Luo's pace and followed beside her. You scared me to death. Lu Xiaoyu wiped the sweat off her forehead. God knows how flustered I was when I was scolding Lu Shuiyu. Yi Qing Luo laughed lightly. At this time, Lu Xiaoyu still stood by her side unconditionally and spoke out to protect her. This action made Yi Qing Luo feel warmth in her heart. Are you really not afraid of the faculty council coming to find trouble with you? Seeing Yi Qing Luo's relaxed and contented expression, Lu Xiaoyu asked curiously. Haven't they found enough trouble? Yi Qing Luo scoffed. Next, let's just watch them bite each other. They probably won't have the time to find trouble with me. She intentionally transferred Lu Shuiyu's agreed request to Yi Qingqian, in order to arouse Yi Qingqian's hatred towards Lu Shuiyu. And before she took out the wooden token, she gave Lu Shuiyu a hint. This hint, Lu Shuiyu naturally thought that she had been used by Yi Qingqian. Chapter 258. Dog biting dog. Lu Xiaoyu glanced at the two people who left one after the other, as she suddenly realized something. I was just saying, you could have taken the opportunity to teach Lu Shuiyu a lesson, but you actually changed it to Yi Qingqian, so... Ha ha ha. Those two people were a united front to deal with Yi Qing Luo. But after what Yi Qing Luo did, these two people were blaming each other. How would they continue to cooperate? Lu Xiaoyu was totally in awe of Yi Qing Luo. She easily targeted Lu Shuiyu and Yi Qingqian's Achilles heel, one by one. For a proud lady like Lu Shuiyu, today was probably the first time she lowered her head and apologized to a new student. And it was in front of so many students. Lu Shuiyu's pride had definitely suffered a blow. Of course, Lu Shuiyu didn't care about her own reputation. But she cared about Si Yanmu, cared about the faculty council which Si Yanmu cared about. The faculty council's reputation, after today, would probably drop significantly. Si Yanmu's reputation as the president would more or less be affected. To Lu Shuiyu, this was the real punishment. As for Yi Qingqian, who was known as the #1 beauty in Three Springs City, was punished to wash the latrine for 3 days. If this reputation spread, Yi Qingqian would be a joke no matter where she went. Especially concerned about her own reputation, Yi Qingqian, who always pretended to be a white lotus. Her reputation was ruined. To be ridiculed, this to her, was the heaviest punishment. Trained, there's a tough battle in the afternoon, hurry up. Yi Qing Luo adjusted her breathing and gradually increased her speed. Lu Xiaoyu sighed softly. Yi Qing Luo was allocated to Devil class, and would report to Devil class in the afternoon. Although Devil class was a rubbish class, with Yi Qing Luo's ability, it shouldn't be a problem. But after all, Devil class could make all the students stay away from it, and it was so mysterious that even the academy students didn't know who was in Devil class. And staying in the waste class for so long, those students' tempers, was definitely very weird. If Yi Qing Luo first entered Devil class. To integrate into Devil class, it would indeed be a tough battle. The two of them didn't continue chatting, and started to run faster. After 10 rounds, Yi Qing Luo felt extremely tired. Last night, she fought with the magical beasts and fought with Lang Fenghua before advancing. After a sleepless night, she was already exhausted. After 10 laps, Yiqing Luo's whole body was heavy and she couldn't wait to fall into bed and sleep. Go to the training ground first and repeat the movements you arranged yesterday. After that, go back to the dormitory to rest. Instructor Ho's voice came from behind. He could tell that Yiqing Luo was exhausted. After 10 rounds inside the square, there were still people standing. Till now, there was only Yiqing Luo. Instructor Ho couldn't help but want to see how far this new student, whose physique and strength were out of this world, could go. Lu Xiaoyu, who had finished her 7th lap, was stretching her limbs and panting as she walked over. When she heard Instructor Ho's words, she was dumbfounded. Double? Isn't that too cruel? Today, Yiqing Luo had doubled her running speed. The rest of the training had to be done again. No matter how powerful Yiqing Luo was, she was still a human. How could he endure such torment? Instructor Ho didn't say a word, only looking at Yiqing Luo. His cold and stiff face revealed some determination. Student Yi, can you do it? Chapter 259. A person's potential was limitless. As long as she had a firm belief and will, any difficulty would not be a problem. In her previous life, Yiqing Luo had experienced much more tiring and difficult training than now. In this different world, she had no right to say no if she wanted to become stronger. As long as she persevered, what awaited her would be a bright future. I'll go to the training ground first. After that, Yiqing Luo lifted her heavy footsteps and walked towards the direction of the freshman training ground. Lu Xiaoyu took a breath and followed from behind. Wait for me, I'll go too. Instructor Ho stared at Yiqing Luo's departing figure and slowly narrowed his eyes. His eyes were full of admiration. Why, are you interested in this young lady? Instructor Chu walked over from behind and put one hand on Instructor Ho's shoulder, the corner of his mouth raised into a smile. Instructor Ho was expressionless, but the admiration in his eyes was obvious. I seem to see hope in her. Yes. She herself is a person full of hope. Instructor Chu chuckled. Her eyes are very firm and she also has a strong willpower. Such a student will definitely have a place in the Nirvana realm in the future. They had been teaching freshmen for decades and this was the first time they met a freshman like Yiqing Luo. She was obviously arrogant, but this was a temperament that belonged solely to her. It would only make people appreciate her flamboyance more and more. From Yiqing Luo, they could see the light of hope. It seemed that there was nothing in this world that could trouble her. After a set of double the training, Yiqing Luo had completely overdrawn all her physical strength. Immediately, Yiqing Luo fell on the training ground. Her limbs were wide open and she was panting heavily. Her vision was almost black, her whole body was heavy and exhausted, completely not like her own body. A group of freshmen who were sweating all looked at this strong-willed woman. Ordinary women, no matter how hard and tired they were, would try their best to maintain the characteristics of a woman in front of everyone. Who would be like Yiqing Luo, directly lying on the ground, completely ignoring the gaze of others? Especially, Yiqing Luo was covered in sweat, lying on the ground, damn charming. Even the female students couldn't stop their little hearts from thumping non-stop. Yiqing Luo closed her eyes as she quietly adjusted her breathing, allowing her body and mind to completely relax. The after-effects of overexerting his strength appeared in every muscle of his body. Her entire body was aching, and it was difficult for her to even raise her hand. Suddenly, his face turned cold. She abruptly opened her eyes and was met with a pair of indifferent eyes. Have a cup of water. The young man was holding the cup and placed it on Yiqing Luo's face. Seeing that she had opened her eyes, he passed the cup to Yiqing Luo. It was Qi Yijing. Yiqing Luo didn't stand on ceremony as she received the cup and drained it in one gulp. After double the training, her mouth was already dry, but her body was so tired that she didn't want to move even half a finger. Why are you working so hard? Training has to be done step by step, right? Qi Yijing glanced at Yiqing Luo. He was curious why this woman would work so hard to complete all the training. She was already the most outstanding one among all the new students. Chapter 260. It's important to consolidate the foundation, but it's also important to strike a balance between work and rest. Qi Yijing sat down against the wall. If you can't do it, take a break. There will be another chance. If you die of exhaustion in this training ground, you won't even have the chance to complete it. Yiqing Luo placed the back of her hand on her eyes. I understand. She just didn't want to give up easily. What she could do in her past life, she could do it now. What she couldn't do in her previous life, in this strange world, she, who could cultivate profound qi, must do it. Qi Yijing frowned slightly, glanced sideways, and stared deeply at the woman lying next to him. After blocking the pair of enchanting eyes, her face actually looked exceptionally pure and sweet, and much more tender. From the first day in the inner ring of the square, Dong Huanglang had his eyes on this girl. Dong Huanglang always mentioned Yiqing Luo. Mentioning her perseverance, mentioning her pair of eyes that were always full of determination. It was as if seeing her gave people hope. Because of this, Qi Yijing also paid some attention to Yiqing Luo. Qi Yijing was staring at Yiqing Luo when his shoulders suddenly felt heavy. A tall body, pressed on his shoulder, brought a strong stench of sweat and the sticky feeling of sweat. Qi Yijing didn't even frown, just faintly took out a towel and passed it behind him. What are you guys talking about? Dong Huanglang raised a teasing smile. Jing, staring at student Yi without blinking, could it be? Seeing student Ye's beauty, you're attracted. Don't talk nonsense. Qi Yijing's eyes slightly sunk, turned his head, stood up, and smashed the towel in his hand, hard on his head. His two hands wiped the sweat on Dong Huanglang's hair and face, and scolded in a low voice, between the two of us, you can talk nonsense at will. Classmate Yi is a girl, a single joke will ruin her reputation. Dong Huanglang calmly sat on the ground, closed his eyes, and enjoyed Qi Yijing wiping the sweat on his body. It could be seen that these two people usually got along like this. Student Yi, you have to report to the devil class in the afternoon, are you afraid? Dong Huanglang kicked Yiqing Luo's calf and asked. Yiqing Luo opened her eyes and squinted at Dong Huanglang. Why should I be afraid? I heard that the students of the devil class are a bunch of lunatics. Dong Huanglang turned his head and told them what he had heard. The devil class consists of the batch of new students who have been eliminated after the training. They do not have much strength and were allocated to the trash class. All of them have weird personalities and have scared away quite a few masters. When Dong Huanglang said this, he deliberately lowered his voice to create a terrifying atmosphere. Moreover, I don't know what method the devil class used to separate the class from the academy. It said that in recent years, the entire academy, including the teachers, have never seen the students from the devil class. Yiqing Luo's brows rose slightly as she leaned against the wall and climbed up. Haven't seen him in recent years. Is the academy sure that the devil class still exists? The devil class is a trash class. Naturally, the academy is not willing to spend manpower and financial resources on the devil class. Therefore, in recent years, the academy has treated the devil class as if it doesn't exist. Every half a year after the recruitment of new students, if they meet unqualified students, they will throw them into the devil class. It's strange that the students who were thrown in either left the academy in a deranged state, or never saw that student again. So, this devil class is quite strange. Yiqing Luo lowered her eyelids as her eyes gradually sunk. Listening to this devil class, it seemed a little interesting. Originally thought that it was just an ordinary trash class, she did not expect it to be so mysterious. Chapter 261. Of course, as the saying goes, a drop of water should be repaid with a gushing spring. During the first training, you spoke up for us brothers, so you are our friend. Dong Huang Lang waved his hand nonchalantly. Student Yi, with your strength, as long as you report to the principal, you can definitely transfer to the high profound class. Saying that, he propped his hands on the ground, his clear eyes stared straight at Yi Qing Luo. Student Yi, let's go to the principal to plead for you. No need. Yi Qing Luo lightly hooked her pink lips, gentle emotions flowed between her brows. You know you are doing this for my own good, it's all right. This smile made Dong Huang Lang's eyes blurred for a moment. Classmate Yi was truly incomparably beautiful. Every smile and frown revealed a charm that could captivate one's soul. It was until Qi Yi Jing frowned and coughed dryly, that Dong Huang Lang suddenly regained his senses. He foolishly touched his head and smiled, lowering his head shyly. In order to avoid the topic, Dong Huang Lang immediately followed up Yi Qing Luo's words. How could it be all right? The devil class is full of waste. Such an outstanding student like you should not go to the devil class. Waste? Yi Qing Luo's smile gradually deepened, revealing her enchanting charm. The Heavenly Academy is known as the best academy. The admission assessment is especially complicated. You have experienced it yourself, so you should understand. If you do not have the corresponding strength, how could you possibly pass the admission assessment? When the two heard this, they were both stunned. No one is born waste, at least those who pass the admission assessment are the best among the ordinary people, just a little inferior compared to the academy's elite. Entering the devil class does not mean that you are waste. The days ahead are so long, who knows what will become. At least for the past 10 years, I am a waste without any profound chi foundation, but now, I am standing in the Heavenly Academy's training ground, isn't it? Dong Huang Lang's eyes widened in astonishment, and only reacted after a long while. Devil class was classified as the trash class, so everyone in the class were all labeled as trash. Over time, no one remembered that they had once relied on their own strength to enter the Heavenly Academy. This was the first time someone said so righteously that the people in devil class were not trash. Yi Qing Luo slowly stood up, her charming eyes were filled with determination. I've always believed in this sentence, whether I'm a waste or not, it's not up to any of you to say it. Only when we say it ourselves will it count. What a good saying. Qi Yijing's eyes lit up. There seemed to be a sense of pride in his heart that gradually spread. He laughed and hugged Dong Huang Lang. His face was always cold, but when he smiled, the lines of his face looked extremely soft. No one can arbitrarily determine the life of others, and no one can trample on the dignity of others. Why did they have to be linked with trash after entering the devil class? Have the students of the devil class ever admitted that they were trash? Those who arbitrarily decide other people's lives are the real scum, the real trash. As long as he believed that he was not trash and had not given up on himself, then he was definitely not trash. Alright, I have to report to class in a while. I'll go back and change into my uniform first. Yi Qing Luo's entire body was sticky and tired. She didn't say anything more to them, dragged her sore and weak body and left the training ground. Perhaps she was too tired. Yi Qing Luo didn't notice that at the entrance of the training ground, there was an unprepossessing young man in uniform, staring at her leaving figure. You're tuning in to the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.